right, so how many people were here for my last lesson on June 23rd? Okay, most of you. Some of you may have not been here, so let me just quickly sort of pick up where I left off. The title of the lesson today is Energy and Awareness, That's What We Are. And our annual theme is the three E's. The three E's. And I'm going to add energy. So our theme is engaging, like embracing and embodying the divine. In May and June, we were reading the Book of Not Knowing, which I'm still reading. That's by Peter Ralston. And then in July, we started the book Journey to True Self by Dr. Ann Deatley. And in my last lesson, I was talking a lot about the Book of Not Knowing and how we all need to let our egos go. And if we're going to see things in new ways, we need to let go of what we think we already know. Because the minute the ego thinks it already knows, then guess what? Shuts down. I think it talks a lot about our political environment these days, right? I already know, so shut down. And one of the one of the activities I did last week, when I did the last lesson, was I said the word chair. Chair. Now imagine you're thinking of a chair. But I had people talking to each other, and do you think they all described the same chair? No. And I actually said, I was thinking about the chair I sit in, so unless you've been to my home, you can't even describe that chair. Well, that's just with one word, meaning as we communicate with one another, trying to express what we think we know. And then I asked this question. When you think about a chair, is it the same thing as experiencing the chair you're sitting in? Not at all. And what this book makes you realize is you have a story about yourself. But who you truly are is just awareness. The experience. We think about a lot, don't we? We think a lot about lots of things, including who we think we are. You know, we could go with titles and labels, mother, daughter, cousin, aunt, minister labels. But we also have a story about ourselves, about the things that we value, the things that are important to us. But how much are we aware of what we are experiencing? Because we're usually in our head. How many sensations do you think we take in each moment? Millions, right? If you consider all the different senses that we have, all the cells, our skin cells, etc. There are constant sensations. Pay attention to your toe. Were you paying attention to your toe a minute ago? There are a ton of sensations that we take in, but we are not always present and experiencing that sensation. So what this book is calling you to do, and it does a fantastic job, is to become more aware of your experience right here, right now. And right now. And right now. Because it is constantly changing. Constantly changing faster than the exchange of atoms. All right, so I'm going to do another what's called think, pair, share. First, I'm going to ask you what to think about and give you each a minute to think yourself, and then I'm going to ask you to share with somebody else. So the first thing is, take in this moment and your experience right now. And now I want you to find somebody else, one or two other people. How would you describe your experience to someone who is not you and doesn't know you? Describe your experience to someone who is not you and doesn't know you. Okay? Scarlett, put up the slide one. Okay, I give you a second to wrap it up. Okay. So first of all, did you all describe the exact same experience? Exact same experience? You guys must be twins.
That's what I said.
All right. The next question is telling the story the same thing as the actual experience of it? No. When we think, we are telling a story about. But when we are aware, we are just being. I found this quote which is perfect for this book. Recognize that unlearning is the highest form of learning. We don't realize how quick we are making judgments about everything. And the book, in the middle of this book, starts to get into talking about our survival as humanity has been to always take in information and to figure out whether it's a threat or not. And we're never going to change that because that is a survival mechanism. But we can become aware of it. But that means you need to see with new eyes. Neville Goddard said, "The whole of creation exists in you, and it's your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience ever greater and grander portions of it." That's our spiritual practice. I'll go back to talking about the book of not knowing in a second. I'm going to move to the second book, The Journey to True Self, Discover Your Divine Magnificence. Anne Deatley is, let's see, make sure I'm on the right page here, is a PhD, and she did research in virology, studying viruses. Then her husband passed away. And one night, she woke up realizing that there were ways that healing could have happened. She's now an expert in energy medicine. I'm going to read just a little bit, and there's lots of books in there, right, Sherry? I saw the stack. And I'm just going to read some excerpts, and if you need to close your eyes just because I'm reading several different things just to really take it in. Expanding our awareness of divine consciousness is key to skillfully navigating the awakening journey and living our best lives, being the best version of ourselves. We more easily discover our divine purpose and become aligned with accomplishing that divine purpose. We make better decisions to fulfill our purpose on this journey of discovery. Awareness empowers us with new ideas, new perspectives, and different ways of being that would not otherwise appear to us. And that allows us to soar to our higher potential for joy, abundance, and living a meaningful life with a sense of true purpose. Part of the expanding awareness is envisioning the life we are creating. Creating from an awareness of living our vision in the present moment, rather than seeing it in the future. And I'll end with, see, in expanding her awareness of how universal consciousness works in creating the world, she experienced learning the principles of quantum physics. What have we all been talking about this whole year? It transformed my life and my understanding of working with energy to discover and live my divine purpose and navigate my new life. You see how these two are coming together? So what's our motto after Center for Spiritual Living? Inspiring, empowering, and transforming. These books are transforming me, as well as several other books and videos. But I want to make sure that I'm clear with you what I mean by transforming. I'm using a colleague's example of when we adapt, it's like you're used to driving your car. But when you get a rental car, it's not that different. You know where the pedals are and the steering wheel is, but as you know, the knobs are different, the power is sort of different, where you open the door, lock the door, so you adapt. I'm not talking about adapting. I'm talking about transforming, which is like putting you in a new form of transportation. Whole new world. And I can say that I am seeing with new eyes. Next slide. The most magnetic thing on earth is loving your own energy. Your perception of yourself affects your frequency. Love yourself. Be confident in your talents and the way you express them. Love the reflection you see in the mirror. May your energy raise the whole frequency of the planet. So it is. I spoke last time about the butterfly effect. Okay? And now look around the room. I heard in one of the podcasts from Ann Deatley that 85% of the people are living in fear, shame, guilt, blame. only. I just want to say this community is in the 15% because we are keeping each other focused on the love, peace, power, beauty, joy, the awareness of being, the beauty of being. We are lifting each other's vibration to be our best and to live our best lives. We are raising the vibration of the planet right here, right now. And I mean that literally. That's not just a saying. This book is getting really clear. And yeah, I know it's a thick book, but if you like to read and it's easy to read and there's lots of space, lots of things to contemplate, we are awareness. This book, we are energy. She says we are exponentially more energy than we are physical. I will be writing a blog connecting what I'm saying here with her podcast that only lasts for a half an hour, and you got to listen to her. She goes, in this book, she goes into decent detail, again, not scientifically, just brushing along, 9 energy systems in our body. And I thought, oh, she's probably talking about, the digestive system, the lymphatic system. No. She's talking about 9 energy systems. Some of them you may have heard of, some of them you may have not. She is talking about, of course, we've heard of the aura. We've heard of the chakras. Radiant circuits. They are the energies of exhilaration, euphoria, ecstasy, and gratitude. Radiant circuits have divine intelligence and connect energies together through circuits and bridges. There's another one that's called the electric energy system. Another one called the meridians. If you've ever done acupuncture, you know about meridians. Something that's called the triple warmer, which governs the system of 3 burners in traditional Chinese medicine. The 5 rhythms, which are water, wood, fire, earth, and metal, and she talks about those in the podcast about how all of those are connected. The grid, which is the skeletal structure of our energy body, and the Celtic weave. The Celtic weave is an energy system within the aura that helps weave all 9 energy systems together in figure 8 patterns. Does anybody know what the figure 8 pattern on its side is? Yes, that's right. You got it. And then she goes even deeper into 8 heart energy, I'll call them subsystems because the heart is part of one of those other systems. And let's see if any of you have heard of any of this before. Do you know that the heart is developed before the brain? The heart's electromagnetic field is by far the most powerful produced by the body. The heart does not need to be directly connected to the brain to beat. Scientific discovery has revealed the brain doesn't make all the decisions for the body. Masculine, feminine. According to scientific research at Heart Math Institute, which we've talked about before, and a couple people here are certified in that, there are 4 ways the heart communicates with the body and the brain. And she goes on to explain that communication. The heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Heart math experiments on research participants demonstrated that focused attention on their hearts induced synchrony between their hearts and brains through energetic interactions. Being the strongest generator of electrical currents in the human body, the heart helps the organs and physiological systems to entrain its rhythms. Magnetics. Be the observer of your life and you will see profound magic. Her words. Yes, we are human beings. That's how we refer to ourselves. But maybe during the day, we're mostly human doings. Who we are being is more important than what we're doing. In other words, it doesn't matter what your career or what it is that you're doing throughout the day, it's how you're being that reverberates. We know that intuition is a subtle energy. What we're learning here is to live as spiritual beings in the physical realm because we weren't taught that as kids. And all of this led me to Dr. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of the Science of Mind philosophy. And I know I had heard before that Ernest Holmes had said that he would focus more on love, not that he would take away anything that he focused on, but that he would add that more. And of course, I used ChatGPT because I remember hearing that when Ernest Holmes first started in the 1920s, he was gathering and synthesizing metaphysical principles, interviewing, talking, reading, many things from New Thought, philosophy, science, religion at the time. And he started out with his quote, "Science and religion will someday walk hand in hand into the house of truth." We're 100 years later. We're living in this time. Pretty exciting. And he originally started out naming the philosophy Science of Mind and Heart. And also Science of Mind and Spirit, which of course is energy when you think about people thinking about spirit. Now, thoughts and feelings are energy. As we think, as we feel, that is certain patterns of energy or frequencies, vibrations that are being translated in our body. In the book, Journey to True Self, she is encouraging us to be our highest self, to increase our level of consciousness so that we can up-level the universe. I think Ernest Holmes would be tickled pink about all of this. And I've been thinking about, what can I do to go back to the phrase science of mind and heart? So for many of us, if we've heard the word science of mind, we automatically know that's our philosophy. Yeah, that's where we're automatically just thinking we know what it is. But let's pretend the philosophy didn't exist. Ernest Holmes was trying to find the words. The science of mind and heart. So I asked ChatGPT, why did the heart or spirit get dropped from the name? The first thing was desire for universality and academic legitimacy. Science of the heart? What could you be talking about? And the Heart Math Institute would say, well, let me show you. The second reason was influence from other movements. There was divine science, Christian science, and other distinct identities that emphasized mental science while still being spiritually inclusive. Now, many of you know we used to be called the Church of Religious Science, and we changed that because so many people just kept thinking we were a part of Scientology. Somehow Scientology branding sort of usurped religious science, and so we changed our name to Center for Spiritual Living. Of course, there's over 400 centers that use Center for Spiritual Living. The other reasons why it was dropped is philosophical simplicity. Holmes believed the unity of all being, that mind, spirit, and heart were not separate. So while we honored the heart and spirit in practice, he may have seen them as including within the mind with the capital M as one. Conscious mind. And frankly, sometimes it's just easier to use the shorter sentences, and therefore they called it a cleaner container. Shorter, clearer names are easier to remember, teach, and publish. So it was succinct and it was evocative for his 1926 textbook, which gave me chills because I realized next year is 100 years of the Science of Mind textbook. Fascinating. But let me also say, as 9 of us prepare to go to Banff, Canada, where SOAR, our conference for Centers for Spiritual Living, will be held, I would sort of like to get back to the science of mind and heart. And I think about, we've come 100 years. The science of mind philosophy, as some of us have been talking about, needs to, Ernest Holmes said before he passed away, I want to be open at the top. I do not want to be like a typical religion where you get stuck and yet we learn more and expand and grow. He wanted open at the top. Open at the top. This is where we need to be studying. This is where we need to be connecting and growing and expanding together. So, I'm going to do an activity to end the lesson. Everybody knows Om. Yes, you've done that probably once in your life. So we're going to do this Om together 3 times. The first time, I want you to recognize in yourself the vibration while you do the Om. I'll start, you join in. Now I want you to be conscious of the oneness that we do the Om together, in that vibration together. We're going to do one more Om together, knowing that we are planting a vibration in the universe like the butterfly effect. And while the sound may go away, the imprint of the frequency and vibration remains forever in the universe. And then we will sit in the silence. Do you still feel that vibration? In the physical form, the sound may have faded. But I'm sure you could still feel the vibration in your body. And while we may get used to the vibrations in our body when we're doing our normal everyday thing, the vibration of peace, stillness, love, beauty, joy is still alive and vibrating in you. All you need is awareness. Namaste.